Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for July 14th, 2020, Tuesday, 3 p.m. Eastern. For Tradera folk, they have the new website, but it is not completely functioning. So they're still working on some avenues with it, but it looks to be, once it's completely fluid, to be a great improvement over the old website. So just, I think everybody knows or is aware that that has transitioned to the new site. And I want to mention that we will have a super health call here shortly to go over some things and make some announcements. Now, when you try to look at attachments, one analogy would be like a life preserver, which your ego believes will save it from drowning. Picture that. Your attachments are like life preservers, which the ego believes will save it from drowning. So if you were to release or let go of these illusionary saviors for the ego, this is one of the only ways to experience true liberation. Once you totally surrender to what is, you realize that you are the ocean and therefore can never drown. So it's just like you say, okay, fine, I give up and let the ocean of life take me. Now, see, it's always the unknown that we get. I don't think that we are completely aware of it, but it's like we become fearful. We embrace the thought of fear and we create it into reality, and we don't know the unknown. When you don't know, we aren't aware of the unknown, a lot of times with the ego mind we withdraw from it. And so we hang on to attachments like a life preserver because the ego has convinced you that you need those attachments because it will save itself from drowning. And they're illusions. These are illusionary saviors. They don't exist. And the only way to experience complete liberation is that you totally surrender to what is. Not what's going to be, what was, but what is. And you truly realize that you're the ocean, and therefore you can never drown. So you don't need, the ego doesn't, it wants a life preserver because it's an illusion that it wants you to provide for it as an attachment. And the attachment is the life preserver for the ego. So if you attach yourself to something, the ego is caught into the illusionary feeling that it is saved and it won't drown and perish. This is part of letting go of the attachments that we carry with us, that we pin to things. And a lot of the times we have a very difficult time of letting go of these attachments. So when you realize how it's broken down, you just surrender, give it up, and let the ocean of life take you. And what that means is what are you doing? You're eliminating the attachments and you're going with the flow. You're just going with the flow. You're going with the current, downstream thinking. You're not fighting anything. right? You can get a really good vision through your heart mind when you're on a river and you've got people coming up the stream and you're going downstream. Now look at the difference that is. Visualize it. When you see those who have oars and are just absolutely digging and struggling to go upstream because they're fighting that current. The current's really strong. And you, on the other hand, are in a boat, you don't have any oars, and current's just taking you. It's not banging you around or anything, you're just going with the flow of that current. So you have a choice. When you look at those two analogies, those visuals of those going upstream, digging and sweating and grimacing, and not getting further, not getting too far either. And then you have those who are going downstream. Now, they're not grimacing, and they aren't struggling, because they have let go of their attachments. They have once and for all said, I don't care to have attachments, so therefore I surrender them all, and I let the ocean of life take me. And so the current literally directs you. It is like the ocean of life, and you have no concerns, because you know that you're part of that ocean, so you cannot drown. It's not possible. You are the ocean. You are the ocean. You see how it can get twisted amongst us as we view things and are influenced by certain things. It is a constant conflict with our ego. Ego says to you, no, you've got to have these attachments. You can't let them go. So, don't pay any attention to what's being suggested. You have to have these attachments. And so many of us go through life with a lot of attachments. And we feel, a lot of us will feel good that we have these attachments because they give us comfort, but the comfort's illusionary. It doesn't exist. And so the ego imprints this, is that I need these life preservers because I don't care to drown in the ocean. Drowned in the ocean, and you're the ocean. So what happens? The ego mind eventually dissipates to the extent where it isn't even a whisper. But it has no intention of allowing you to do that. So it will work very hard as to fight against you discovering that this is the only way to experience true liberation. So once you totally surrender to what is, now that's not easy either, because a lot of people, I got what? They have the fear again. The fear thought comes in. And then they embrace it, create it into reality. So when you have this, it's a conflict with the ego mind. And a lot of times people will surrender to the ego mind, and they just go on with things. But then there are some who will totally surrender to what is now, what is really in the moment, and then they realize that they are the ocean, and they can never drown. How many times have you been in a situation where you thought something was a lot worse than what it was, and you basically conjured this thought up, you embraced it, and you created it into your existence and your reality, that, oh wow, this is going to be really tough, this is going to be really bad. And how many times have you seen people say, wow, this is a lot easier than what I thought it was going to be? See? Because this is what happens. Whether you consciously are aware or not, you create the situation that you are fearful of it being super hard or challenging. So you create it. Now this is what's interesting. It's pretty intriguing. So we create this, and then we consciously will say, boy, this looks really tough. And it ends up not being tough at all, or very acceptable, and sometimes, most of the time, very enjoyable. So you see, we don't know that, but we've already created what we are thinking is going to be tough. And that's why it ends up not being tough. Okay? Now, also, we will create things that we look at, and we're looking at it, and you've done that, and you're doing a visual, and you go, how in the heck am I going to be able to pull that one off? Have you ever done that? Maybe not in those words, but, generically speaking, you're looking at something that you said, well, okay, I'm going to do this, and then you go, how the heck I'm going to do that? I got to figure this out. And you just think, at every avenue, you think that there's just no way you're going to be able to do it, okay, or accomplish it. And then all of a sudden, things start coming in, you figure it out, majority of the time, and you're able to do it. Because you're creating the very thing that you then, sometimes we unconsciously, we're not consciously aware of what we're creating. So we create these things in our experience. And imagine when you drop the attachments to it, okay? And you have no life preservers, you don't care to have any, because you're the ocean, so you can't drown. How can you drown if you're the ocean? You can't. So it's a visual, it's an understanding, it's an analogy so that you can identify with the fact that you are the ocean. You cannot drown, so you just surrender. The ego believes that, oh, well, I'll be saved from the drowning, because it feels it's going to drown if you don't have those attachments. And the drowning, those attachments are the life preservers for the ego. So you go like this. You say, well, I'm going to let go of these illusionary saviors. And illusionary saviors, of course, are the attachments. And this is the only way that we can experience true liberation. And now once we've totally surrendered to what is, then we realize that we are the ocean, and therefore we can never drown. So it's quite, it's understanding that we choose or we don't choose. That's all. Attachments and expectations are very, very, very go against our grain. They really do. Whenever and expectations come with the attachments, so it's a package deal. You aren't going to have attachments without expectations. So when you have the expectations and you have those attachments, and you don't know you're the ocean, and you don't know that you don't need the life preservers, which are the attachments and the expectations, then what happens? You have several attachments that you hang on to dear life, and you have several expectations. Now, when you're in that boat going downstream, and you're not really concerned about a thing, you're just, kind of humming a little tune and just zooming right down with the current. And you're looking over at those others, and you're going, man, I am so happy and grateful that I'm not asleep anymore. Okay? We always look. When you see something, or you're beginning to experience something that you either consciously or unconsciously brought in, you understand is that what is the simplest, easy way to do this? Does that make sense? Why would you do something that's so complicated and so rough and tough without, creating or manifesting or creating in reality a different way to complete whatever it is you've created for yourself in the now, in the experience? So we surrender, we let go of these life preservers, these attachments. And we don't get them anymore. We don't embrace them. We don't create them. We just don't need them. We never did. At first, it's a little bit uneasy for people when they do that because it's the unknown, isn't it? Because we're so used to having those life preservers, those attachments in our existence. And then when we don't have them anymore, and then we visualize the fact and say, oh, I don't need those. Why would I need a life preserver, an attachment, when I'm actually the ocean that I'm afraid I'm going to drown in if I don't have attachments or these life preservers so that I can save myself from drowning in the ocean, which I am? It's really silly that we do the things we do because we're just, it's like this. You have consciousness, you are consciousness, but yet in physical form, you're not connected to your consciousness. It sounds kind of confusing, but in some things you're conscious because you're consciously aware of certain things that you do, all right? So it's not like you're in some kind of a fog and you don't know the things that you do. And then there's the flip side where there are things that you do that you don't know you do. So you've got both ends of it. And the way to correct that is to just eliminate the attachments once and for all. If you find yourself coming into developing or bringing in another attachment, or the ego throws you another lifesaver for itself, which is an attachment, you sit there with the lifesaver and you go, well, I don't need this. I don't need this. I'm the very thing that this is supposed to keep me from perishing in. How can you perish in yourself? So it's all of analogy to give you a depiction or a kind of a pictogram of understanding that all you look at from the fact is that you are the ocean. You don't need to be saved, period. And believe me, when you let go of those attachments, I'm not saying that they go away for good because the ego is constantly trying to get you front and center to try to get you to embrace those attachments because you've done it for so long. So it almost seems like an automatic. At first, you think you drop them and boom, they're back again. You say, okay, so it takes practice, but eventually I won't have them anymore because I don't need them. So every time that you find yourself with an attachment expectation, you say to yourself, I don't need them. I don't need those. Because the very thing that the ego thinks it's going to drown in is you. That's why the ego is so concerned, because it cannot lose itself in you. If that happens, then it doesn't have any control ever again. And that's what we're directing ourselves to do, because in higher frequencies, you're not going to need the ego. You really won't. And it knows this. And so it's not really that happy about the fact that you're consciously aware that you don't need it as you move into higher and higher frequencies. Because you will have nothing to prove. You'll have nothing that you need to do to prove to yourself of who and what you are. Nothing. Okay? It will be fluid and with ease. You'll just flow with who and what you are. And whenever you desire to create something into reality, then you will. And you won't have any expectations because you'll know that you will. Okay? It's like saying, in other words, you're not saying, well, I expect this to happen because I'm going to do this. Or I've attached this because I'm going to do this. It's like you say, it's already done. And you leave it alone, and it's already done. But boy, I'll tell you, we've all been through this. If you get expectations front and center, and you get attachments front and center, attachments are what? It's when you hold on to something, and you just won't let go of it. You know what I mean? It's like you hold on to something and you just won't let go of it. And the reason you keep hanging on to it is because of the fact that you're fearful of what will happen if you don't hang on to it. none of us are exempt from this. So we're fearful. And what do? We create that. We create it. We create that. We embrace those thoughts. Whether they're ours or not, we embrace them, and we create into reality the fear. And it's going like, you're so used to having these attachments that you're scared to death not to not have them. You know, you're looking at a body of water, and you know it's really deep, and it's just waving around and everything, and you say, well, I don't even know if I can swim, so I've got to have a life preserver, which is my attachment. So if I have that, then I'll feel good about things, and I know I won't drown. And then you go, wait a minute. You look down, you go, I am the water. How the heck can I drown? Why do I need this lifesaver? I don't need this life preserver. That's silly. But yet people will, and they'll be in the water of that which they are with a life preserver or an attachment. Now visualize that and see what that looks like to you. Isn't that crazy? Well, we do it. You know, it doesn't make us bad. We just do it. It's some of the things that we do. And so that we discover ourselves more and more. And believe me, the more we discover ourselves and who and what we are, and the more we can immerse ourselves in the love that we are, everything changes. That's what's happening here on this planet. You're turning within. And that's what happens with a lot of people that don't get it. You know, it's like, they say to you, well, why aren't you concerned about this? Excuse me, or why aren't you worried about it? You don't seem like anything's really affecting you. And you say, because it isn't, because I choose it not to. You see the difference? And then there's those who are unconscious. They're in a bicameral residual mode, so they're unconscious. They're unaware. And so they're the opposite, see? They're concerned, they're frightened, and they're in fear. But if you do review with yourself, you have fragments of your past lives, you just don't know it. But you'll go over things and you'll say, what is the true power of this civilization? What is it? What makes this civilization, each and every one of us, so omnipotently powerful? It is our awareness of who and what we are. That's what does it. Okay? And the more of us that become consciously aware, clearly, without expectations or attachments, and knowing that we're the ocean and we can never drown, then we begin to realize that, okay, so what is it, what are my intentions? I want this to be this way. You deliver that to yourself, to the God within you, and then you just let go. And you don't attach anything to it, and you don't put any expectations of the outcomes of anything. And you just let go. Leave it alone. Now, how many times have you caught yourselves in conversation with yourselves or with others where you won't let go of something? You keep harboring it. It's an attachment, and that attachment literally keeps you focused on it, and you ever notice you go back to it, and you keep belaboring it and analyzing it and weaving it in and out, and you just literally won't let go. Have you ever had anybody say, why don't you just let go of this? You know, you're spending so much time on it, talking about it and everything, and it doesn't change anything for you. And it's just there because you're holding on to something that you don't need to hold on to. You have that attachment, and you aren't aware that you're the water. So you want a life preserver to protect you from drowning in the water that you are. Isn't that crazy? You go, wow, yeah, I've never really looked at that, but that really depicts some of the situations I have found myself in. And when you say to people to let go, that scares them, see, because they're so used to holding on to certain things in their lives, and they don't want to let it go, all right? And when you understand that and this is very difficult for a lot of people, you're everything you need. It's never been any different. But when we get all cluttered up with the ego and expectations and attachments and everything, then it becomes difficult for us. Confused, intense, stressful. But when you look at yourself as the ocean, and I talk a lot about the current, okay? And you either fight the current, or, and here's the analogy. You see people going against the current, fighting and fighting and fighting, sweating and grimacing. You, on the other hand, are on the other side, and you're letting the current take you. So you surrender to the current. And this is what's happening. Those who are fighting the current, those are those who are fighting themselves. The current is them. Just like we are the water, so we don't need life preservers to keep us from drowning from the very thing that we are. So the current, when those who fight the current are fighting themselves, and they don't surrender to themselves because they're fearful, and they have attachments and expectations of what might happen if they do surrender to themselves. Now, those that are going downstream and letting the current take them have surrendered to themselves. The water is them. The current is them. So there's two depictions in this existence. You either choose to fight yourself in this whole existence that you're in, which then you mean you lose your joy and your happiness. You don't discover the God within, and you're constantly fighting yourself. I think that's a good analogy that you can view anytime you choose, and that which one do you choose? Where are you at with which one? Are you fighting yourself on that current, going against the current, going against yourself and the God within you, or are you allowing you to go with the flow and let you, the current, take you? That's what this is about. That's your choice. And it's not temporary. So when you make that commitment to yourself through your heart-mind, it's permanent, okay? Because then you start to realize the difference and say, why in the heck would I sit here and fight myself so, adamantly so, my whole existence? Why would I do that in this life? It doesn't make any sense to me. When I'm the very thing I'm fighting against, it makes much more sense to me to be over here with the people that have surrendered to themselves. See? So this meditation is a surrender to yourself. Drop your attachments. They're illusions. You're trying to save yourself from drowning of that which you are. Isn't that crazy? So if you will, go to the place where you're not going to be interrupted. And I'm sure we all are. And the first thing we want to do is relax our bodies. Very important. Seems simple, doesn't it? Oh, okay, I relax my body. And when you relax your body, you drop your shoulders. Most of us will crunch our shoulders and not even be aware of it because we're absorbing stress, okay, that we're creating for ourselves. Again, we're fighting upstream. So as we relax the body, drop the shoulders, and we surrender and release all of the attachments that we may have acquired over the past 24 hours. Whatever they may be, surrender them. You're surrendering to you. When you surrender to you, which is basically everything, the God within you, the heart, mind, the spirit, the soul, the higher self. And I mean fully, not halfway, not 1 foot in and out, but all the way in. The body relaxes. You communicate with your body. I'm serious. When you talk with your body and you mean it, and you have conversation with it, you say, how you doing? You wake up in the morning and you say, how you doing, body? How we doing? Okay, body, we're tired, so it's time for us to go to bed. And, you know, but a lot of people will not identify or know that, and so they're fighting the current. They're upstream. They're fighting upstream. So, but when you relax the body and you say, body, let's relax, the body will relax. You drop all that stuff off. Eliminate it. No, I don't care to have this, because then I'm fighting myself if I keep that. I'm fighting myself. Well, why would I fight myself? I love myself. Then, body responds or starts to relax from head to toe, inside out. Now, the thing that really supercharges us is our breath. Now, as we relax the breath assists us in relaxing the body, and the body loves us for it. So we breath in through our noses very easily, not huge, stressful inhale, but a nice, easy inhale, breath in through the nose, and then breath out through the mouth. Now, as we breath in, we're breathing in divine positive energy. And why is it divine positive energy? Why is that? Well, because it's very high frequency of deep eternal love. How could it be bad low frequency when it sustains the life of the body? Okay? Because if we didn't have the breath, where would we be? We would leave the body. Because the body cannot survive without the breath. Say? We give the body energy and power, but the breath sustains the vessel. So picture this as you're breathing. Visualize yourself, we should all be sitting in a comfortable position. And we look at our chakras, which align right up through our spinal column all the way up to the top of our head, center of our bodies. Now, these are energy vortexes, and they're at different points on the spinal column, and they're all connected to different glands and organs in the body, and they are responsible for uniform distribution of your chi, or your ki, prana, or life energy, which is the God source, the God energy within you. And that's how it's transmitted through these chakras. And if there becomes a blockage in any one or more of the chakras, you may suffer from health or mental issues. It isn't even debatable, it's a fact. So the chakras form the energy ecosystem of every single one of us. And a deficiency in this ecosystem can wreak havoc in the different areas of life. You think they're important? They are. And how many of us really pay any attention to them at all? A lot of people go, oh, that's just a bunch of hogwash. Ah, that's nothing. Yeah. You must be a tree hugger or something. So picture you're breathing in your sacred divine energy, and you're breathing and you pull it and you start with your root chakra, which is the Muladhara. And your root chakra is energy, stability, comfort, safety. And it's the I am. Now, all the time you're moving this divine positive energy in your breath in, up through your chakras, your spinal column to the top of your head. You always have one eye on that little guy, the ego. Now, as we move through the root chakra, the Muladhara, the I Am, which is the red wheel of light. We then move to the sacral chakra, the orange wheel of light. These are like flower petals, geometrical designs. And so the sacral chakra, the Vadhisthana, is sensuality, sexuality, pleasure, and sociability, I feel. If you're irritable, or you don't care to interact with others, and you just seem to be off all the time, chances are your Vadhisthana, your sacral chakra, isn't in balance. Then we go through the yellow wheel of light, the solar plexus chakra, the Manipura, the strength and personality, power and determination, the I do. Then we move to the green wheel of light, the heart chakra, the Anahata, acceptance, love, compassion, sincerity, I love. And then we move through the blue chakra, wheel of light, the throat chakra, the Vishuddha, communication, expression, creativity, inspiration, I talk. And then to the violet wheel of light, the third eye chakra, the Ajna, intuition, lucidity, meditation, trust, I see. And then the purple wheel of light, the crown chakra, the Asraha, knowledge, consciousness, fulfillment, spirituality, I understand. This is super powerful. You're bringing divine positive energy up through your chakra systems. They're all energy vortexes, wheels of light. They connect to all the organs and all the tissues in your biological vessel. If they're off, you're off. And so we bring this all the way up to the top of the back of the head. And for a brief moment, we hold it. I am light, I am love, I am. And in that brief moment, we compress and condense it into pure liquid energy. Now, we release it over the pineal gland. Now, you can view the pineal gland any way you wish. I view it as a rosebud, and basically it's a green ball. And when you release this pure liquid energy, this frequency over the pineal gland, it blooms into a vibrant, highly scented rose, multicolored, reflecting and shimmering, that is eternal, immortal. This is important that our pineal gland at this time in these physical forms is fully functioning and healthy, and none of ours are. They're not fully functioning. They're functioning, but they aren't fully functioning, and they are not healthy. But with this visualization of intent through the heart, mind, and the gods that we are, we then release the bondage of the pineal gland, and it begins to expand itself, intensify, and become fully functional and healthy. And it is very important to us to have a fully functioning, healthy pineal gland in these bodies, because while we're in them, it is a gateway to all of the particles of existence. It is a gateway to the pure consciousness, and it is a gateway to beyond all of that. So it's important to us to have some form of visualization and a meditation that can identify and direct our frequencies and energies, our chi, up through the center of our spinal column and into the pineal gland. Now, we are all consciously aware that we are the highest, deepest, eternal love from the highest, deepest, eternal love and the highest and deepest, eternal gratitude. And we have others with us. We have the archangels, the cherubim, the seraphim, the archetypes. And this is a civilization that vibrates at a different frequency than we do, so therefore we don't see them as we see ourselves. And they've been around a long time. They've assisted us on many fronts and many levels. Thousands can surround any one of us at any one time. They can only take up a small area of space in large number because of the fact that they're in a higher frequency than we are, and they're able to do this. So small area, large number. So thousands can surround us at any one time. Now, we also have the Ascended Masters. Ascended Masters Kuan Yin, Maitreya, Buddha, Lakshmi, Ganesh, Gaia, Saint Germain, Sananda, Jesus, El Moria, Abundantia, Pel, Thoth, many, many, many more. And they are those who have ascended out of physical body into pure God form, which is pure consciousness, which is the light that we are. Love light energy, God light energy, pure consciousness. Now, our pure consciousness, our gods, enter the body to experience the physical. Some of us have been in trees, different animal forms, whatever it is we desire to experience, we experience. Now, we assist each other. We've been assisting each other ever since we have been and are. They're consciously aware that they are of the highest, deepest, eternal love from the highest, deepest, eternal love and the highest and deepest, eternal gratitude. Now, we're all gathered here at this planet Earth, Gaia Arya, in this now, in this meditation of forming the circle of light. We're compelled to call out to as many facets or pieces of Source Creator as we can to join us in this meditation of the liberation of this planet into a higher dimensional frequency. So we call out to all light energy beings and all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever, beyond, and forever, and only those who are consciously aware that they are of the highest, deepest, eternal love, from the highest, deepest, eternal love, and the highest and deepest, eternal gratitude, can be with us in this now, this meditation of forming a circle of light. And they come. And they come in the gigaplexes. One gigaplex fills this universe. They come in the trillions of gigaplexes from many different directions. And they are with us. We call upon all the inhabitants of inner earth, hollow earth, Agartha, beneath earth. Only those who are consciously aware that they are of the highest, deepest, eternal love from the highest, deepest, eternal love and the highest and deepest, eternal gratitude can be with us in this now, in this meditation, forming the circle of light. And they come in the billions, and they are with us. We call upon all the off-worlders, all the galactics. And there's a lot of civilizations, many, many, many species, civilizations. Only those who are consciously aware that they are of the highest, deepest, eternal love from the highest, deepest, eternal love and the highest and deepest, eternal gratitude can be with us in this now, in this meditation, will form you the circle of light. Now, we're only familiar with a fraction of them. Over 1,000 species and civilizations traverse through this solar system alone daily. And the Pleiadians, Arcturians, Andromedans, Sirians, the felines, Zeta Reticuli, many levels and species of the Greys, Nords, Draco, Reptilian, Golden Pyramid, Avians, small fraction of the life that's out there. Now, they have been assisting us in our evolution, our enlightenment, and our ascension, freeing ourselves from our own self-imposed bondage and our own self-imposed slavery. And they are with us. We call upon all of our loved ones, all those who have ascended out of body in this lifetime and all lifetimes that we've inhabited. Only those who are consciously aware that they are of the highest, deepest, eternal love from the highest, deepest, eternal love can be with us in this now, in this meditation, in this forming of the circle of light. And they come and they are with us. We call upon all the light energy beings who have decided to be housed in the following forms on and above and below this planet Earth, Gaia, Arya. In this now, this meditation of forming the circle of light. Now, just to name a fraction of them, because they come in the trillions, in shapes, colors, sizes, forms, configurations of which many we've never seen before. We have the fairies, the sprites, the elves, the gnomes, the dwarves, the trees, the trolls, the elementals, earth, air, water, fire, ether. The mermaid, the dolphin, the whale, the Pegasus, the unicorn, the centaur, and the minotaur, many, many, many more. And they are with us. So all of us, arm in arm, hand in hand, all of our gods together, we are in full compassion, non-judgment, non-negativity, stillness of mind, non-ego, gentleness, kindness, generosity, and bliss, humbleness, joy, peace, tranquility, benevolence, and abundance. And we are all of the highest, of the deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude, and we are all from and of the highest, of the deepest, deepest, deepest eternal love. And we are all one, and we are all love, and we are all the God, and our God-light energy is in all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever, and it continues to intensify, and it continues to expand. And we have formed this massive circle of light. It is so bright of a light, it would take at least 1 billion of the suns in the solar system to compare to its brightness. It is the God within us that emanates this brightness. It is the pure, deep, eternal love that we're all made of that emanates this brightness in this circle of light. It is but of the purest and the purest, deepest eternal love and gratitude. And we begin to levitate up above the planet. And as we levitate up, we're saturating, flooding, and bathing everything and everything eternally, perpetually, in the deep eternal love and gratitude. We are met with this gossamer field of trillions of reflected, vibrant, millions, trillions in colors, everywhere, flowing, effortlessly, all pieces of all of us, reflections of all of us. And as we do this, we're immediately met with the emerald green flaming healing light of Archangel Raphael, which is the column that reminds us that we are the power of healing. We are then met with the violet blue flaming light, violet blue purple flaming light of Archangel Michael. This is a column that reminds us that we of our power, our strength, our resolve. We are then immediately met with the white fire. This is a column that reminds us that we are imbued with a God armor inside and out, head to toe. It is of the same vibrational frequency as our circle of light. It is of the highest, the deepest eternal love and gratitude. It cannot be penetrated. It cannot be disrupted by any external forces whatsoever. So it is, so it shall be. Now, any lower dark matter frequency or lower survival matter frequency that tries to invade or encroach or penetrate this field, this armor, is vaporized. They cannot hold at such a low frequency anywhere near us with such a high frequency. Now, only you can change that. If you lower yourself far enough in the lower dark matter frequency or lower survival matter frequency, you lower your frequencies deeply enough, you will diminish your white fire armor, they will come flooding in, and then you are met with the purple transmuting flame. This is a column that reminds us, each and every one of us, that we can bring in the purple transmuting flame. If we do this and lower our frequencies, we can bring in the purple transmuting flame, and we can literally transmute all of these lower vibrational frequencies into neutral light substance, and we send them right back to pure consciousness where they are no more. Then we're immediately met with a violet ray. There's this column that reminds us that we can then bring in the violet ray right in behind the purple transmuting flame, and we can harmonize and cleanse and purify the area where these lower frequencies were, therefore restoring our white fire armor, our God light energy armor, to its full capacity of deep eternal love and gratitude. Now we're also met with the golden white pink light. This is the column that reminds us of the love that we are. And we make sure that we're reminded, because we create beautiful sunsets and beautiful sunrises and rainbows everywhere. We see this golden white pink light as reflection in our waters, reflections in the skies, everywhere. And it's reminding us of the love that we are. This is why we were taken in with such beauty, such wonderfulness, and how it fills us with joy and happiness and bliss, because it does every time we see the beauty that we are. And then we're reminded, how can you not know what you are? Nothing is separate. So the sunsets and the sunrises on this planet are a reflection of the love that you are. Pretty amazing, isn't it? So we continue to levitate above this planet Earth, Gaia, Arya, in this meditation, in this circle of light. And as we do this, those of us carrying physical form decide to step out of our physical form and effortlessly float above our bodies. And as we do this, we see this massive column. And it is larger than the solar system. Now, we created this column. It's a crystalline light column, and it has trillions of vibrant rainbow prisms emanating from it. It's kind of a crystalline tower. You can kind of see into it. It has a lot of different prism reflections, just like our auras. And so as we see this, and we know that it is literally vibrating and flooding and bathing everything in this harmony, in this high vibrational frequency of deep eternal love and gratitude, we look at the top of it, and we designed it so that the golden ocean can come cascading down perpetually, eternally, in 360 degrees. In this ocean, each of us is a drop of this ocean. And each of us in that drop hold the essence, are the essence of that ocean. And this ocean is the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal love. And from the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal love, and the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude, and of the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude. And what is it doing? This golden ocean is flooding and bathing and saturating everything and everything. All of our brothers and sisters on this planet Earth, Gaia, Arya. Everything. All life, the highest value in the universes. And it's literally lifting all the civilization softly, gently, kindly, generously, humbly, into a higher vibrational frequency of total peace and happiness and bliss and joy and tranquility and benevolence and abundance and stillness of mind and non-ego, non-negativity, non-judgment. Picture that through your heart minds. Magna glorious. And then we look a little bit over as we continue to ascend, and we see our meditative sphere. We created this sphere well over 2 years ago, and it's at center circle. It's massive, this sphere. It holds all of our meditations in perpetual motion. Every day, all of us, throughout the universes, throughout the quantum realm, meditate for this planet and its liberation. In deep intent and deep eternal love and gratitude. Every day. Close to 900 meditations and growing. Millions and millions of just those of us on and above and below this planet. Not including all of those who join us off planet. And this sphere that we've created is flooding, saturating, bathing everything and everything. This is why it can be seen, heard, and felt, and all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. And this is why it continues to intensify and it continues to expand. But we're constantly being communicated with all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, forever, beyond, and forever. It communicates, you are the ocean. There are no fears other than those you create for yourself. There is no hatred other than that you create for yourself. There is no anger other than that you create for yourself. There is no envy other than that you create for yourself. There is no ego other than that you create for yourself. These are all attachments. And the attachments are an illusion. And the ego looks at these attachments as its life preserver because it doesn't want to drown in the ocean. And you are the ocean. Now join you in the meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take an easy breath in through the nose. And an easy breath out through the mouth. And move slowly. Visualize yourself as the ocean. The very thing you were trying to protect yourself from drowning in yourself. Visualize yourself removing and surrendering and letting go all attachments. And eliminating all the life preservers that you've created at the request of your ego. That you fully embrace, totally surrender to you as you are the ocean. You're downstream. You are guiding you. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, and into the following morning. I will return here for 2 calls tomorrow. At 3 p.m. our Global Guided Meditation call, and at 9 p.m. our Time for Change Awakening call.